Stand by. Andrew might take care of you. Ron Petrie's on the line right now. Ron is the chief of police. Now, Ron, you're still chief of police in the village of Frankfort. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And so are these both part-time jobs, basically?
No, the village is a full-time
village full
police position.
And a part-time position would be as chief of the town of Frankfort. The Observer-Dispatch has a big story today, a big editorial, and it's referencing something that you had told them, that you believe that you were let go because some on the board at the town of Frankfort believe that you coerced the OD into doing a story about consolidation. You want to comment on that?
Well, I'm sorry, I'm fighting a head cold. So, what had happened at last Thursday's board meeting, where I eventually got terminated, the town supervisor became very irate when discussing the town-village consolidation, and made a outright accusation that I was behind the OD articles recently printed, which included some of the editorials and letters to the editor. I obviously have nothing to do with that. I have no control over the Utica OD or their editors or the people that read it or write into there. As the argument progressed, they eventually went into an executive session, and the outcome was my termination.
That quickly, and you, it's all over this issue of the OD story on consolidation.
That's my belief. Yes.
Yeah. And have you had a conversation with the supervisor since then?
Absolutely not.
Yeah. And we're talking about Joe Kinney, and I will say that, Andrew, we reached out to Joe earlier, right, this morning.
Yes.
And Joe,
they're going to be sending out a press release. It is a personnel matter, so he can't discuss it in public.
Do you have a contract that would protect you from? I almost feel like there's a First Amendment issue going on here.
That's my feeling as well. I was quoted in one of the articles about the consolidation by saying that had the town followed through on a consolidation effort, the taxpayers of the town and village of Frankfort could have seen significant changes. To me, that's not an opinion. That's a fact that I could back up with information that I have throughout the application process and the research that I've done about the consolidation. And one of the board members during Thursday's meeting told me that my opinion did not necessarily line up with the opinion of the town board, and therefore it was difficult for me to continue to serve two masters, is his words.
And is there anything? Are you under contract, or are you just an employee of the town? Yeah,
I'm just an employee of the town, but I still have protections under the policies and procedures of the town.
Sure.
And there's town law. New York State has town law that specifically denotes how disciplinary action can be handed down to police officers. And it's very obvious that their own policy and procedures and the town law were not adhered to for my termination.
I got to tell you that it does make you wonder if this is the right legal move on behalf of. I mean, is there any paper trail about insubordination? Do you have a paper trail on things that you've done wrong as the chief for the town of Frankfort?
Well, back in if you remember, back in December, there was some rumors floating around that I was not going to be reappointed, and I was receiving calls from people that were my potential replacements. And back in December, I went into the clerk's office, asked to review my personnel record because I wanted to see if there was some disciplinary action that I was left out of somehow.
Yeah.
And there was absolutely nothing in my file other than my paperwork to acquire the job. There's no. I've never been brought up on any disciplinary charge. I've never been spoken to about any kind of a disciplinary issue. So there's nothing disciplinary-wise that preempted this, other than what turns out to be a difference of opinion in my comments to the Observer-Dispatch.
And I hate to add to those comments, but I'd ask you your opinion. I mean, I've heard stories where it becomes very difficult for. I mean, the fact that you're the chief for the village and the town is helpful, because the fact that some of the district kind of overlaps, right? I mean, a town of police, Frankfort town police officer could write a ticket in the village of Frankfort, and so could the village of Frankfort. Am I correct with that?
Yes, the village is 1 square mile, and the entire village is encompassed by the town of Frankfort. So the town does have jurisdiction in the village. The village, however, there's only certain reasons that we would leave our village limits.
Sure.
There is.
But this does complicate matters, and you wouldn't think about these things. But I've spoken with someone who certainly doesn't want to be identified, but said that at times there's a battle over who gets the money from the ticket.
No longer
that's no longer a problem.
No, the village court disbanded. I want to say 2 years ago.
Got it. Okay.
So any of the court funding goes through the town. So even as we speak, any of the tickets issued by the village police in the village, they have to appear in the town court. And because the town of Frankfort runs the court, all the funding from any traffic tickets or anything like that, the town keeps. There's no obligation for them to share it with the village. So it's again the village police department being in existence and doing our job creates revenue for the town of Frankfort. And
the other thing is that the members also overlap, right? If you're on the village police department, could you be on the town or vice versa?
You could. However, right now there are no
overlap. Okay. All right. Except for you. Okay, here's what the OD had to say in today's editorial. I mean, they're Manaski, would you say, pretty direct in their editorial.
Yeah, I'll just read a couple of quotes here. And again, this is an editorial in today's OD. The spirit of the late Utica mayor Edward A. Hanna is alive and well. And living in the town of Frankfort, Hanna was notorious for muzzling public officials who served on his watch. And now the town of Frankfort has gone down the same shameful path by firing town police chief in charge, Ron Petrie, apparently for publicly stating his opinion on police consolidation. And I'll read you the last line of this editorial as well, which is very damning. It says, board members Darlene Abticola, I hope I'm saying that right, and Joseph Tamburo voted against firing Petrie. That's an honorable position. It says, I don't support the consolidation, but I do support Ron. The OD says that's an honorable position. Disagreement among reasonable people is commonplace in democracy. Dictatorships play by other rules.
You want to comment on what the OD has to say, Ron?
I don't think I should. Yeah. That's their opinion. That sounds like a well-written article.
Would you take the job back if they gave it back to you? If they offered it back to you?
You know, I enjoyed my time with the town. I enjoyed serving the residents and the residents that I came in contact with. At this point, based on the way the town board has treated me, at least 3 members of the town board, I don't know that I could work under those members of the town board. If there was a difference in or a change in leadership over there, I would love to have my job back. I would love to be able to lead the guys in that department and the ladies in that department. I would love to be their chief again or their officer in charge again. But I don't know that I could have the respect to answer to those 3 board members ever again.
Are you considering legal action?
Honestly, I don't think I have any other option.
Yeah. And this is a bit of an off-the-record question, but don't you feel that most of your leadership skills, most of your dedication, most of all of this was learned in the 7th grade when you were on my junior high wrestling team?
I've got to go back to my 6th grade teacher, Mr. Ashley.
Probably a wise decision there. A wise decision. Listen, Ron, we wish you the best. I'm sorry this is going on, and you know the victims in all of this. It's you, your family, and of course the members of those police forces, and the people of the town of Frankfort. So it is a shame. So, Ron, thanks for coming on.